Donna Cerrone O'Hare.
And I'm Nick Millard.
Welcome to PVD POV, where we bring you new insights into the coolest little city in the smallest state.
Whether you're a local looking to uncover hidden gems or a visitor eager to dive into our vibrant culture, we've got you covered.
Each week we'll be chatting with the movers and shakers in Providence, from restaurant owners to hoteliers and everyone in between. A very special guest this week, and that is our Secretary of State, who came down from the State House, Gregg Amore. He is probably the biggest history buff in the state.
My mind is still reeling from all the history that he had. I'm just like, how do you know these numbers?
He's incredible. He talked to us. He was a teacher. And so he talked to us about the semi-quincentennial, which of course is the country's 250th birthday. I can spell it.
Semi-quincentennial.
SEMIQUINCENTENNIAL.
Now alphabetize it.
ACEILMNQSTU.
Okay. Now, remember we were talking the other episode we talked about, if you're listening to this too, a freak show. I think that might be
I could be at the...
You could be a freak show.
I could be there.
That's a little tidbit for anybody that listened to another episode.
So anyways, we talked with the Secretary of State. He's so great about all of the events in Rhode Island, and there's so many of them, every city and town. And of course, some of the big ones are in Providence with the WaterFire. And we were just talking about like the rich history in Rhode Island and how we're better than Boston.
Yeah, I mean, we had the first one here. Yeah. We'll definitely hear more about it with Greg as he talks about it. And I could definitely tell you can definitely get the history teacher vibe.
Oh my gosh, for sure.
And I mean, in a fantastic way.
Yeah,
I wouldn't fall asleep with that. Yeah,
no, loved it. He's very passionate about it, and so we were really glad to have him talk about the history here in the city. So turn us up and get ready to experience Providence from a whole new perspective. Welcome to PVD POV, and today we're joined by Secretary of State Gregg Amore, who came down from the State House to talk about all things Rhode Island 250, the big birthday coming up.
The semi-quincentennial.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's definitely the mouthful that I've heard everybody calling me. I'm just like, the 250th is fine for me.
Bicentennial was a lot easier. I was around for the bicentennial.
Yeah.
I was 10 years old. I remember walking down Taunton Avenue in East Providence during the bicentennial parade. Somebody stuck a tricorn hat on my head.
Oh, okay.
And said, "Carry this banner."
Distinct memory.
Yeah, well, I think they made the Little Leagues march, and so that was a
formative years. Your formative years.
Yeah, my dad was actually on the bicentennial state commission,
so
it's
awesome.
I'm the chair of this commission. So that's kind of a
very
nice
full
Rhode
circle.
Island story. Yes.
Yeah. No, when I first heard the word semi-quincentennial, couldn't say it. Now I can spell it.
But it is RI 250 for sure.
RI 250.
It's America 250.
Yes.
And it celebrates and commemorates the birth of the nation, the signing of the Declaration of Independence. And one of our big initiatives of the RI 250 Commission is to allow Rhode Islanders to come see one of our copies of the Declaration of Independence. We've had 3 viewings already, 4, counting one last year. There are 7 more across the state, and people get to see one of the 3 copies of Rhode Island's Declarations of Independence, and they're all original copies. So the Goddard copy is one of 9 in the world. It's so unique, it has a handwritten note from John Hancock that says a true copy. Those are the copies that went to the states. Those are the official copies. It's really remarkable. We don't advertise which of the copies are going to be on display because we don't want Nicolas Cage to show up and steal them. But the state police protect those copies. They travel with them. And we hope to build a Rhode Island History Center. It's going to be on the ballot this November so that they can be permanently displayed and folks can come see them.
Which is actually perfect timing because I think this is, Rhode Islanders love 4th of July. I think Bristol is a great example of that. But this has really gotten people interested in U.S. history, and I'm sure you're very proud of that as a former history teacher, but you can tell that you love history, and this is like the best place to be celebrating such a milestone for our country because Rhode Island's place in American history is big. I mean, it's bigger than Boston's, right?
Yes.
Can I say that?
You can.
Well, we all say that. That's very important.
Yeah, 18 months before the Boston Tea Party, the Gaspee incident occurred. 18 months. And when you compare the 2 incidents, right, a bunch of people dressed as Native Americans boarded corporate ships, right, British East India Company ships, and tossed bales of tea overboard. Now compare that to Rhode Island patriots dressed as Rhode Island patriots who boarded the Gaspee, which ran aground, removed the crew, shot the captain, and burned it to ashes. The Tea Party's cute, but what we did was fired the first shot of the American Revolution and then declared independence before anyone else and called for the committees of correspondence. So The Act of Renunciation is May 4th, 1776, where we renounce King George III, and then call for the committees of correspondence, so the colonies to come together in resistance, coordinated effort in resistance and then defense. And so Rhode Island played a key role.
And I love that here in Providence, you can see Stephen Hopkins, one of the signers, right, of Declaration of Independence, his home, his grave site. We have really unique history right here in the city.
He's an interesting character. He was not home at that home near the court building when George Washington came to visit and stayed at that home. And the people in the neighborhood were really concerned that they needed to treat George Washington as royalty, and they were looking for better china to serve him with. And Hopkins' granddaughter said, if it's good enough for Stephen Hopkins, it's good enough for George Washington. And that's really the egalitarian story of America, right? And Hopkins has the great story of the signing. When he signed, he was suffering from Parkinson's disease. His hand was shaking. He wanted to make sure no one in the room thought he had any doubts or second thoughts about signing that document. And he steadied his right hand with his left, and he said, my hand trembles, but my heart does not. And the people in the room applauded. They signed the document a month after they passed it in Congress, and that's where he did that. And he's really a remarkable character. He wrote The Rights of the Colonies Examined in 1764, which made the case for no taxation without representation. So before Thomas Paine had ever put pen to paper, Stephen Hopkins was talking about the rights of the colonists.
I think Rhode Islanders have always been ahead of their time.
Yes, we're very, very advanced.
Forward thinkers.
I often think what the people of Kansas are doing for the semi-quincentennial.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
We have such rich history here.
Yes, they had to really find something to talk about.
Last week I was at the Stephen Only House in North Providence for a Liberty Tree planting. We've planted Liberty trees in 32 of the 39 cities and towns. We'll plant them everywhere and at the Veterans Cemetery and at the State House, commemorating the semi-quincentennial and what the Liberty Tree means. But we're planting them at places like the Stephen Only House, who was a Revolutionary War hero. If the Purple Heart had existed when Stephen Only fought, he would have received 3 Purple Hearts. He was there at the Battle of Yorktown. He led the charge at Redoubt Number 10 under the command of Alexander Hamilton. I mean, we have such rich history. We should be able to share it with Rhode Islanders during the semi-quincentennial.
And I want to talk later about your kind of pitch to visitors who want to travel to an American city for that rich history and rich American history. But before we do that, let's talk about Rhode Island 250 and the lineup of events, because I know you've been working on this for 3+ years and it's finally happening. What has it been like, and how have the events been laid out? What are you most looking forward to?
So I would prompt people to go to rhodeisland250.org, and they will see a full calendar of events across the state. And every city and town has a 250 commission. And the 250 commissions received grants from the RI 250 Commission, and they're establishing programming and have established programming across their communities. But then we've also provided grants to supportive organizations who tell the story of Rhode Island within those communities or parts of the state. So there's so much programming on ri250.org. I don't want to slight any one particular program, but there's a lot. And it actually has been going on since before I was Secretary of State. I inherited the role of chairperson, but Secretary Gorbea started the 250 Commission, and the planning has gone on now for 5 years. And we're in the midst of it now. But there have been great events already. You probably remember that Ken Burns visited us.
Yes.
We hosted Ken Burns for 2 days prior to the release of The American Revolution on PBS. And he worked with the 250 Commission, Rhode Island College, RIPBS, which is now Ocean State Media. And we did professional development with teachers. We had him speak to students. He gave an incredible talk at Rhode Island College. That was a great kickoff for RI 250 to have the great documentarian here talking about how Rhode Island played such a significant role. So there are so many events. I mean, there's the traditional ones, right? Fireworks,
Yep.
Bands, parades, but there are these unique events all over the state that I think people should get onto our website and really dig in.
If you had to pick a couple must-sees, are there any of the week or month, really,
Ones that
people
you're
should...
going to be at, too?
I'm at a lot of them. I think I've been at 30 of the Liberty Tree plantings.
Oh,
I
wow.
bet,
So
yes.
the signature event is right here in Providence, and that is the Providence WaterFire semi-quincentennial 250 WaterFire. and it's going to be a full lighting. There'll be 250 flags draped across the river. There will be the Rhode Island Philharmonic performing at 6. There'll be a Rhode Island Air National Guard flyover. There'll be poetry and patriotic readings and music. Just a wonderful event. The usual WaterFire ancillary programming. It's going to be fantastic. But I guess the event that most touched me, which has already occurred, was the Rhode Island 250 honor flight, where we took 30 veterans, 30 plus veterans, mostly from the Vietnam War, but also from World War II and the Korean War. We took them to their service monuments in D.C., all expenses paid. They were treated like the heroes that they are. When we arrived in D.C. at Reagan National, the entire airport stood in applause for these Rhode Island veterans. They were guided by a bagpiper. They were just treated so well during the entirety, and they opened up about their service, about their love for their country. Some opened up about their disappointment in their country. It was something I'll never forget, and it finished with a VFW dinner in Virginia. And these guys, many of them said outside of the birth of their children and their weddings, this was the best day of their life. And we were so happy to provide that for them.
It's great that you could be a part of that too. That just seems very meaningful for you.
We laid a RI 250 wreath at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, the World War II veteran who I accompanied to do that. He was in a wheelchair. He said to me, "I'm gonna walk to do this," and he got up and he walked and he laid the wreath and walked back. Yeah, it was great.
That's an incredible event. I can see why that would have been one of the
favorites. But there are so many good things happening. The French in Newport is happening. At the end of July, the USS Eagle will be coming in. That's the tall American ship. Oh, cool. The U.S. Coast Guard mans that. It'll be in Newport for tours. The crew will be there to support community service projects. There's a lot of neat things.
That's incredible.
But I look forward to the WaterFire. I think it's going to be.
That's such a moving event, anyways, right? And then add the flyover and all of the other things. I think that's just going to be extra special.
Yeah, and the Philharmonic is great always, but they're going to do a patriotic set. They're going to do a practice set that people will be able to watch earlier in the afternoon. It's all free. There's no charge for any of this, so it's going to be great.
Now, plenty going on for 250. What would you say to visitors from out of state who want to take a little trip to somewhere historic? And aside from all the great food and other things to do that you can get here in Rhode Island and Providence, what would you say about the history of our state specifically that's so alluring to them?
There's so many places. I would encourage people to come visit the Rhode Island State House. The Royal Charter is in the Rhode Island State House, 1663. It's in remarkable condition. It's the foundation of self-government in America. Rhode Island had self-government beyond any of the other colonies based on this charter, and it is the definitive foundation for religious freedom in America. The separation of church and state that's articulated in the charter is what the First Amendment became.
Thank Roger Williams for that.
Roger Williams, yeah. And people should see that, right? That's our history. But I mean, you can go down the street to the old State House, which has been remodeled beautifully and restored beautifully and accessible. You can go to Newport to the old Colony House and see the other Gilbert Stuart painting of George Washington, something you'll see at the State House as well. There's 3 of those in the world. There's so much. 2 are here, and they were all commissioned by Rhode Island. There's so much, and I think, I hope that we will continue to do this kind of historic exploration post the semi-quincentennial, which happened after the bicentennial, I'm told, and happens every time Ken Burns runs a documentary.
Right.
So we're hoping Rhode Island can take advantage of that, and if we build this history center, Rhode Island's history will be on display. There'll be an education center there. We'll be able to have revolving exhibits.
Yeah.
Just quickly, there's an exhibit in Virginia at Fort Belvoir, which is the U.S. Army Museum. It's their 250 exhibit. Thousands of people have visited it, and thousands more will. Rhode Island plays a key role in that. Our office, the Varnum Armory, a whole host of folks here in Rhode Island made sure that the 1st Rhode Island Regiment, which is the first integrated regiment in the history of the United States, black soldiers, former slaves who were fighting for their freedom and for the freedom of the nation, indigenous soldiers, white soldiers fighting together the U.S. military wouldn't be integrated again until 1947, right? And
Wow.
and that's just a touch of what people can find here. And a lot of that is mapped on RhodeIsland250.org.
There is so much history and so many firsts in Rhode Island that people overlook. I had one more question, and now it's escaped me. So I'm going to come
talking
back
too
to
much,
it.
that's why.
No,
It's okay.
no, it's not. Oh, can you tell us a little about the History Center, if it does pass in November, where it would be, what, like museum, what would be in there?
It's partial museum and partial archive. So it will be right here in Providence, across from the State House on Smith Street, in front of the administration building. There's a whole host of requirements for an archives building, flood zone, making sure that it's not near traffic that would cause damage to documents. It can't be near the train station because of vibration, whole host of things. It's a perfect location because it connects to the State House. It would be an exhibit space, an education center, and then a vault for the most sensitive of our archives and documents, but a permanent display for the documents that I've talked about. And I've just talked about the Declaration. We have a copy of the Bill of Rights, again, one of 12 in the world. It's so original, it has 12 amendments, only 10 of them passed. Ours is in better condition than the one at the National Archives. We want to display that, the Act of Renunciation, which we could display. We have the box that King George sent with the inquiry, or the demand for an inquiry into the Gaspee incident.
Wow.
It's in remarkable condition. And then we have the depositions of the folks who were questioned in the Gaspee. We have Nathaniel Green's commission. And we haven't even talked about the Nathaniel Green House, which you can visit. He was the most important general outside of Washington. He's a Rhode Islander. He led the Southern campaign. There would be no victory in the American Revolution without Nathaniel Green.
One of my other favorite tidbits, popular culture, is General Burnside.
Oh, yes.
Sideburns.
The
Who
sideburns,
knew?
yes.
There's so much. I hope that
Yeah.
the Scottish who are here for the World Cup, I hope that they appreciate these little pieces of history. I don't know if they're called sideburns over in Scotland.
But that is the origin here.
But that is it.
There was also a Civil War general named Thomas Hooker, but we won't tell that story.
That's for a different podcast.
We can imagine. Awesome. Well, we're definitely looking forward to all of the 250 events. So RhodeIsland250.org. I know GoProvidence.com has a lot of the events listed as well, but it sounds like statewide there's, well,
And the cities and towns are doing a good job advertising
for
their
sure.
programming. And places like the Rhode Island Historical Society right here in Providence, who also have a space in Woonsocket at the Museum of Labor and Culture. And then the Newport Historical Society, Block Island. I mean, all the historical societies are in. Most of them are our grant recipients. There's some Juneteenth programming coming up across the state at the Rhode Island Historical Society in Providence and other places. It's going to be great.
we're looking forward to it. Thank you so much. We will put all of this information, the website and everything, we'll link it so people can find out
And
about
go
these
see the
events.
Declaration of Independence. You have 7
Yes.
opportunities over the course of the next month.
I definitely think I need to plan on that.
Elsewhere, where, I mean, other than this, where are they? They're
So I
locked
actually
up?
have a list. It's going to be in South Kingston, June 20th, at the library, West Greenwich Town Hall, June 27th, July 1st at the Bristol Historical and Preservation Society, July 4th, all 3 copies at the State House between 1 and 3, July 8th, Newport Historical Society, July 11th, the Museum of Work and Culture in Woonsocket, and July 19th at the Audrain Auto Museum on Bellevue
Love
Avenue.
that place. And then after this, they go back into,
They go back into storage.
and no one can see them.
Well, you can see them by appointment.
Okay.
And then we bring them out, we let you look at them for a couple of minutes, and then we put them
Yeah.
Put them
back.
back. So this is your opportunity.
sounds awesome.
It's kind of like the independent man all over again.
That's
you know?
right.
Come see him before he's gone.
That's
There
right.
we go.
All right. Thank you so much.
Yes,
Oh,
thank
thank
you.
you, I appreciate it.
PVD POV is a podcast hosted by the Providence Warwick Convention and Visitors Bureau in collaboration with the College of Hospitality Management and Center of Media Production at Johnson & Wales University. Hosts are Alana Cerrone-O'Hare and Nick Millard. Production by Professor Brian Lavin with assistance from the graduate students in tourism management. Episodes are available wherever you download your podcast. Visit GoProvidence.com for more information on these stories and everything else Providence.